All right, well, good evening. So we're going to do a kind of a quick video. This is kind of me testing the waters on how this might work. So it might be a little bit rough, but we're going to cover step 13 in our Introduction to Engineering Design 1.2.4 Fundamentals of Dimensioning. And so for step 13, we're asked to create a 3D model. Now, I just wanted to do a quick tutorial video on how to do this in case somebody misses or if you just want to have some extra time, but that's the shape that we're going to do. So I'm going to go ahead and shut that out. Now, this is referencing drawing 3 out of your packet, and so this is the drawing that we're going to reference. A couple of things to notice is that down here, 2 squares are equal to 1 inch, so that's going to be important as we step through this. So my tactic is, we talked about there's different strategies. There's addition and subtraction when it comes to building these models. My intent is to basically build a single box, and then we are going to create additional boxes in order to create these features, and then we're going to create a cylinder here in order to subtract that from the model as well. So let's start off in Fusion 360. So let me flip over here. There's a completed model. We're going to get there, but we'll start off with creating a new design. So we're going to say File, New Design. Brings us to somewhere new. Now for folks, just make sure a couple of things. For your document settings, you're going to want to make sure that you're set up in inches. And then over here, we want to make sure that our front goes this way, and then we have Y going up, and then we have X going to the right. So my tactic is I'm gonna build that box first. So let me go back over to my drawing. And so this box from a front view, remember this is the front view, top is here, and then we have isometric. From a front view, we are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We are 7 units across. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Since one of these or 2 of these is equal to 1 inch. If we're talking about 7, we're talking about 3.5 inches across the top. And then it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So it's going to be 3.5 inches wide and 3 inches tall. So going back to my model, I'm going to do a sketch. So I have a couple of options. I can just click on Create Sketch. I can also click down, say, where we go, Create Sketch. I'm going to pick a plane in order to keep everything simple. I'm going to do that XY plane. So we'll click here. And then first step I'm going to do is I'm going to create a box. So I'm going to put the origin at 0. Now I can just drag it a little bit, and then I can hop off my mouse. And I said I wanted to make it 3.5. So I'm typing in 3.5 to give my displacement on the x-axis going to the right. I'm going to tab over. And then I'm going to say I want it 3 inches tall. If I hit enter, then that's going to give me that box. And now I'm going to work on extruding it. And so I'm going to put it back so I can finish my sketch. And then that gives me the ability to use this plane in order to extrude it. I'm going to go backwards. So let me go back over, take a look at my drawing, just confirm. I'm 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 units. That's 3.5 inches, and I'm 6 inches tall, or 6 units tall. It's going to be 3 inches. So let's take a look. If I'm looking at the top view, this thing is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units thick, or this distance here. So that's going to be 2.5 inches. So I'm going to switch back over to my drawing, select that surface. I'm going to go extrude, and I want to go backwards. So let's say here, yep, everything looks good. I'm going to click on distance, and I'm going to say minus 2.5. Go backwards, and then boop, there I go. Okay, so now we talked about subtraction. So I have this overall box. So the next thing I'm going to do is I want to take away this little guy here. And if I'm looking at my top view, and you would have dimensioned this for your drawing, I just haven't dimensioned it yet. That box is going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 units wide. So it's going to be 2.5 inches wide. It's going to be 1, 2, 3, 4. So 2 inches deep. Let me go ahead and write this down. 2 inches deep it's going to be 2.5 inches wide. And then if I look at this front view, it's going to be half an inch tall. So I'll go back to my drawing. I'm going to go back into sketch mode. So I'm going to highlight that face. I'm going to create a new sketch. It's going to take me into it. So I'm going to create another box. I want to put it right here on the corner. Now I can drag my box out. Now I want it to go, let's just say I'm going to go ahead and make it where I'm just clicking over. So this is 2.5 inches wide, so I'm going to drag it over to 2.5 inches wide, and then I'm going to drag it down to half an inch deep. So I hope you can see those numbers, 2.5 inches. Click there. Now I've got my box. So I'm going to go ahead and finish my sketch. Come out here, I'm going to highlight that, then I'm going to extrude it. I'm going to go back into it, so this is the positive coming out in the z-axis. I'm going to go back into it. We talked about the depth being 2 inches, so I'm simply going to go over here to distance and say -2 inches. Now, it's going to give me that subtraction, so looks good. Enter. There we go. Okay, so far we have the box, and now we've created this feature. So in the next box I'm going to remove is this additional cube or block here. So if I look at my notes here, this thing is 2 inches wide. It's 2 inches wide. It's going to be 2 units tall, so it's 1 inch tall. Okay, so it's 2 inches wide, 1 inch tall. Let's just go back over to my drawing. I'm going to go highlight this surface here. This is where I'm going to create my sketch. I'm going to do my new sketch. I'm going to highlight right there. Let's see here. Oh, got to pick rectangle. I'm going to start off on that corner, and then I'm going to go back. We talked about 2 inches wide, so I'm going to go back here until it shows me 2 inches, and then I'm going to go down, and I need to go an inch. So I'm going to select that. I'm going to finish my sketch, so I'm good to go. I'm going to pick that box right there, and then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm going to extrude it out. Now if I look back over to my drawing, let's click over here. It is 1.5 inches deep, so 1, 2, 3 units. 1, 2 is 1 inch, so next year will be 1.5 inches. Get back to my drawing. I'm doing everything back into this thing, so -1.5 inches. And bam, there we go. All right, it's actually looking like it's supposed to. All right, here we go. Last thing, and this procedure is in the section, so don't let this scare you too much. What we're going to do is we are going to create a cylinder. I'm going to create a cylinder. And how I'm going to do that and how they show this is I'm going to pick this face here. So I'm going to pick that as the face. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the center point there. See how it changes to a triangle and an X. Okay. I'm going to follow that along to the center here. And then I am just going to slip out here. And now it shows me the center point. So now I've marked it. So now I have to come up with the radius. So I'm going to flip back over to my drawing. And that thing is 2 units wide, so it's 1 inch. So I'll go back here and say 1 inch. Got it. Now I want to extrude it. So now I need to know, I want to go down because I want to go into the part. So I'm going to go back to my drawing. And I see that this thing is 1, 2, 3 units tall. So 3 units is going to be 1.5 inches. So I go back here. And then my height is going to be -1.5 because you see the blue arrows going down. Oh, that looks right. Hit enter. Now let's see if everything looks okay. Look through there. Yep, it's a hole. So that is how we create that model using a combination of subtraction and using our sketches. So there you go. Rough video complete.